You ever wish life came with an instruction manual? A practical guide for making good decisions about work, money, relationships, just about being a good person? Well, for thousands of years, people have turned to an ancient collection of wisdom for exactly that. So today, we're going to dive into the Book of Proverbs to uncover its timeless advice. So, can wisdom actually be learned? I mean, that's a huge question, right? Are some people just born wise, or is it something you can actively pursue and get better at? This ancient book gives a surprisingly direct answer. It presents wisdom not as some mysterious gift, but as a path that anyone can choose to walk. The only question is, where does that path even begin? Get this. The entire Book of Proverbs, with all its hundreds of little nuggets of advice, is built on one single foundational idea. If you can understand this one concept, you basically have the key to the whole book. Yeah, it's the absolute starting line. Every other piece of advice, every single warning, and every promise in the book flows directly from this one core principle. You can think of it like the source code for the book's entire operating system. So, what is it?
Okay, so here it is. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Now, that phrase, the fear of the Lord, can sound a little intense, but in this context, it doesn't mean being terrified. It's talking about a deep sense of awe and respect for a moral order in the universe. It's like having a true north on your life's compass. The book argues that real wisdom isn't just about being clever. It starts when you acknowledge a source of truth that's bigger than yourself.
So once you accept that starting point, the book presents life as a constant choice, a choice between two very different paths. In every decision you make, you're either walking toward wisdom or toward its opposite, which the book calls folly. Let's take a look at what that choice actually looks like in real life. This really lays out the contrast perfectly. On one side, you've got the wise person. They seek out knowledge, they listen to advice, and they accept correction because, well, their goal is to grow. But the fool, on the other hand, is just arrogant. And folly here isn't about being unintelligent. It's an active resistance to wisdom. The fool can't stand to be corrected and acts on impulse, totally convinced they already know it all. The book makes it super clear. These are not just personality types. They are choices that lead to completely different lives. So this choice between wisdom and folly isn't just some philosophical idea. It's intensely practical. It shows up in the most ordinary parts of our lives, how we work, how we talk to people, and how we manage our own character. Let's talk about work. The book describes diligence not just as working hard, but working with purpose and looking ahead. It's about seeing how all those small, consistent efforts compound into future success. And laziness? It's not just about resting, it's a pattern of neglect that also compounds, but in the wrong direction, leading to poverty. So your approach to work is a direct expression of which path you're on. It's the same thing with our relationships. The book talks a lot about the incredible power of our words. They can be tools that build people up, or they can be weapons that tear them down. And it gives this super practical advice. Choose your friends carefully, because you will absorb their habits and their values. They literally help set your life's trajectory. Wisdom in relationships, then, is all about being intentional with what you say and who you surround yourself with. And really, at the core of it all is character, specifically this contrast between pride and humility. Pride is shown as this kind of blindness, this belief that you're the center of the universe and you're always right, which inevitably leads to a fall. Humility, then, is the superpower. It's the self-awareness to admit you don't have all the answers, and that's what keeps you open to learning and makes you truly wise. So, after looking at all these different areas of life, what's the big takeaway? How do we put this all together into something we can actually use? Well, the book essentially lays out a clear, actionable game plan. Here's the path, broken down into 3 simple steps. First, seek knowledge, but start with the right foundation, that deep respect for moral truth. Second, apply those principles to your actual daily life, in your work and your relationships. And third, cultivate a character of humility, which means always being open to learning and correction. It's not a checklist of rules, it's a lifelong process of growth. And that brings us right back to that central choice. See, the Book of Proverbs doesn't just give us information. It kind of holds up a mirror and asks us to reflect on our own actions, our words, and our attitudes. So the question it leaves us with is a powerful one. Today, in this moment, which path are you choosing?